Wewe RUTO, ukitaka KALONZO pitia kwangu. That simple statement carries a lot of weight. We want to discuss the environment where Rigathi told RUTO that if he wanted to recruit KALONZO Musyoka, he had to go through Rigathi Gachagua. A lot of things come to mind with that just simple statement. First of all, being that it is true. First of all, we get the impression that it is true when Kindiki says that he has failed but will continue trying to woo Kalonzo Musyoka. You know, Kalonzo Musyoka belongs to that group of politicians which are gentlemen, which are fence sitters, which are whatever. But probably Kalonzo is the greatest fence sitter on earth. It is quite possible that Raila may have won the last election had Kalonzo made his decision early. It took a lot of time for Kalonzo to cross over. Some attention was even left where some attention which was supposed to be to continue with the campaign, because they didn't know whether Kalonzo would join them or force or make a third force. Actually, Kalonzo had even nominated somebody from Narok to be his running mate. So Raila's campaign team was a bit reluctant. You see, if Kalonzo would have declared from the word go that he's not in the group, or that he's in the group, campaigns would have gone another way, another notch higher. But since he was legally, there was a possibility that if you attack him now, you may spoil the few chances of him joining us. So it took a lot of time. But he's a kulegalega person whom it is not over until it is over. Right now, there's a Swahili saying that hakuna ajuaye rangi ya kinyonga isipokuwa kinyonga mwenyewe na Mwenyezi Mungu. With that, I can say there is nobody who knows Kalonzo's stand other than himself and the Almighty God. So each side is trying to woo him, and he has not made up his decision. That is this channel is there to assess the situation and not take sides. Second, it shows that Kalonzo is not categorically said no. He has not categorically said no, neither has he categorically said yes. It only needs one word to end it. It only needs one word to end it. He needs to declare. To be a principled man, he needs to declare. He needs to tell Kindiki, go to hell. Or he needs to tell Rigathi, go to hell. This thing about, I know wooing a bride is not easy. And according to some traditions, including my tradition, if a bride just said yes, the quicker she says yes, she seems to be seen in the negative manner. But then again, in my tradition, if a lady takes too long to say yes, she may not know it, but by the time she says yes, it may be a bit late. So I think it is not good to behave as a bride, but it is good to be principled. Let him declare Is Rigathi Gachagua wasting his time, or is Kindiki wasting his time? Uh, the public pronouncement, if you want to deal with the Gachagua, no, if you want to deal with Kalonzo, you have to pass through me. It may bring a further division in the opposition. Remember, in the opposition, there is tension between Jubilee and DCP. And so creating further tension between DCP and Wiper may not be working well for the opposition. This is how rigging is done. This is how rigging is done, election rigging. You see some simple things such as this one, especially when you start getting convinced that you are going to get this thing, then you start internal fighting to an extent that you fail, and then you start blaming the government, and you start blaming the IEBC, and furthermore, you even blame the judiciary, the Supreme Court, that they used bad words such as what was the word they were using? Hmm? A judge is not supposed to use such words. If you don't, if the opposition does not unite before the election, and even before the election, the opposition is supposed to unite early, very early before the election. If you unite at the 11th hour, blame yourself, or as you like blaming, you can blame the rigging. Yes, from day one, any coalition there is a hidden power play. Even if you belong to a party with the least chances and whatever, there is always power play. Some people may not even have a hope of campaigning. There was an unfair attack on the late Masinde Muro, where people are saying that by him trying to unite the two arms of the Ford, he was trying to place himself as a compromise candidate. So from day one of any coalition, every leader, even those from little parties, they place themselves strategically. They place themselves strategically. Uh, they may end up as compromise candidate. So to fight for who is to be the squad leader, there's usually that fight on who is to be the squad leader for that coalition. But let us remember Matiba in 1997 publicly humiliated Raila in central Kenya. By then it was Central Province. What had happened is that there was a public meeting. It was just like these things which are happening. And then the public meeting, it reached somewhere where they were meeting in somewhere in a central region. By then it was Central Province. And then Matiba took a microphone and told Raila, tell me, are you going to assist me to remove Moi? Raila was cornered, but then uh, that one led to the breakdown of their union. If I'm not wrong, from that time I think their union broke slowly, but it died a natural death. So this thing about it is just like the bride story where you have to choose the right time to say yes or whatever, and also fighting to be the squad leader. You have also to have the timing. If you wait for too long, you may not be a candidate for it, and if you act very early, you may cause a division. We should also study the two leaders. We should also study Kalonzo Musyoka and also Rigathi wa Gachagua. Kalonzo belongs to the politics of gentlemen. He's in the same group as Kina Kibaki, Mwai Kibaki. He's in the same group as Mudavadi, Musalia Mudavadi. He is in the same group with Eugene Wamalwa. These are leaders. These are very great leaders. They're very great leaders. As you saw from Kibaki, they can make very, very good presidents. but they are very poor in campaigning. They are very poor in campaigning, and for you to be given a chance to, rule, there has to be a campaign. As somebody who promises everything and delivers nothing but talks well to people can be made the president. But you, who is a very good, a realistic leader, you may not know how to pass the information, and so you'll not be elected. So comes leaders who are good in campaigning but poor in ruling. You find that if you are good, like those Kina Kibaki, Mudavadi, and Eugene, uh, the group that Kalonzo Musyoka belongs to, you need somebody who's very good in campaigning. Two of the greatest campaigners in Kenya's history, as of today, is Raila and Rigathi. Rigathi and Raila are very good campaigners, but performance, I don't know. From his pronunciations, from Rigathi's pronunciation, he has chosen Kalonzo as his preferred candidate. That is, if he will not be cleared. He may not appear on the ballot paper. So he has already indicated. As of now, all indications are that if things remain the way they are, most likely that he will support Kalonzo Musyoka. Several challenges come to mind when you are aware of that. Kibaki looked very easy and humble. He looked and he looked a very easy person to handle. That is believed by Raila, that when he looked at all other candidates, he knew that Kibaki was the best person you can control. But they say power corrupts. We have an archbishop, Macarius. Macarius used to be a president of Cyprus, isn't it? Even if you are an archbishop and you join and you join politics, you become the president. You be everything else in politics. You can be an accountant, you can be whatever, but once you join politics, inakaa kama umerogwa. Another thing, on one side, Rigathi says that he will give someone the car, but retain the logbook. That is a very clear indication that if Rigathi campaigns for you, then you will be the ceremonial president, and he will be the executive behind the throne. He has done that before. Because when his brother was the governor, for Nyeri, he was the real power behind the name. But what we have seen, Mr. Nice, Kibaki, and Kalonzo, and such other people, may be Mr. Nice before the elections. Once the elections are over and he has been sworn in, then he becomes different. Remember, Kibaki had not even been sworn in when journalists asked him about the MOU. No, not even the MOU. The MOU came later, but he was asked whether he was going to be a one-term president, and then he told them, "Where did I say that?" So, what I'm trying to say here is that some people become gentlemen or ladies before the Electoral Commission declares you the president-elect. Once they declare you the president-elect, things vindu vichenjanga. People who are close to Ruto say that after Uhuru was declared the winner of the 2017 election, before even Raila went to the Supreme Court to appeal for the case, Uhuru became very hostile he became very hostile to Ruto. It is only that they became friends again because of the appeal case. And Ruto, what he did was he noticed that Uhuru had been become suddenly hostile to him. So what Ruto did was during the campaign for the runoff, he really campaigned. He really went campaign for that with the hope that Uhuru will notice how he's campaigning inaitwa fervently or something like that. Kizungu ni ngumu, ilikuja na meli. So he would see that, and then he would he would he would seize the hostility. So what I'm trying to say here is that somebody becomes very soft and whatever, but after the IEBC has declared him the president, uh, he becomes another thing. There is another thing that Rigathi Gachagua did not notice, of which I would also want to tell people. Uh, this position of number two, it was even renamed from vice president to deputy president for a purpose. Number two, even in the America, it is just ceremonial. You are a nobody unless and until the the person heading the position dies. If the person heading the position dies, then you become somebody. But before that, you are nobody. I'll give you an example of Nyeri. Nyeri, Derito Agashagwa was the governor. And because of his ill health, and maybe because of the closeness of the brother and the manipulation of the brother, that is Rigathi Gachagua. Rigathi Gachagua was the effective governor of Nyeri. But when his brother died, the constitution says that the deputy governor became the governor, and the offices that people used to come and bow down to him, those offices became, he had to enter those offices on appointment. You see, we have a lesson we were taught in Kiganjo that stealing from a thief, if you better steal from a pastor, you better steal from a born again person or something like that, a religious person. He'll pray for you to get another better thing than that. But stealing from a thief is very painful. Now, Rigathi Gachagua used to, as an advisor to Derito Gachagua, he used to overrule everybody in Nyeri County government, but including the deputy governor. Now he doesn't know that when they became, they took over from Uhuru, the deputy president or the vice president is there ceremoniously just to wait for the vacancy to come in. He didn't know that. He thought that now it was his turn. He was the effective deputy. Actually, he didn't want to be a co-president. No, he was. And even the pronunciation that has provoked this recording, he talks of I installed two presidents. So I think even when he was deputizing Ruto, most of the thing is just he has that pride of, I placed you there, then I control what you want to do. So what I want to tell people is that you find that somebody changes immediately. He is declared the president elect. I may be wrong, but if Rigathi's aides think, if Rigathi, let me repeat it again. I'm saying I may be wrong, but if Rigathi assists Kalonzo in winning, then the MOU, then remember the MOU. And I can tell you that the MOU fights were kids' play. These people can even fight a bigger war than not Ruto, Raila and Kibaki. You know, Raila and Kibaki used to fight about the MOU. Because there are some people who are very close to, who knew there was somebody called Farouk? Who knew? There's some people, every president has those people. I've only given an example of Farouk Kibet, but every president from even Idi Amin, we used to have Isaac Lugonzo, also known as Isaac Maliamungu. These are the people who are, they are not members of the cabinet, they are nothing, they don't even hold an formal office, but they are very, very powerful. They are the people who determine that. So, if Rigathi aids Kalonzo in winning, then the war MOU fights were a kid's game. You may find that they are going to have a really big fight. Perhaps, just perhaps, Rigathi should have waited for the 27th November. We are going to have several by-election on 27th November, and DCP has never contested for any. All DCP candidates resigned, apart from the Malava, and then again the Mbere, they installed somebody again in, not Mbere, there's a place, okay, I forget the place, but there is a place that they have placed. So according to me, apart from MCS and whatever, I think DCP is having just two candidates, and two candidates just for him to have left America to come and be in charge of the election. I think two candidates are a bit on the lower side, and in those two elections, uh, if he gets, unless he gets all, but if he gets one or none, I think he'll be beaten a bit, and that is why I say perhaps, just perhaps, Rigathi should have waited for 27th November. And also, this boasting may be his undoing. You know, this boasting, going around telling people that, as I've said, telling people that he created two presidents. Now it is about him and whatever. So pride, they say, comes before a fall. So that is what the little I had to say, or the little observation I had to make concerning the current situation. It is timing is a very good art, whereby just like campaigning for any position, uh, let's say we have gone through 2027, and the next election is 2032, isn't it? When do you start campaigning for 2032? Do you start campaigning on 2028, which is very early, or do you start campaigning in 2032, which is very late? So some of these things, and even some of these things they are talking and whatever, we may consider them careless and whatever. Politics is something that you have to weigh. If you are too soft, that is bad. If you are too hard, that is bad. If you start campaigning very early, it is too bad. If you start campaigning very late, becomes a bit bad also. So it is an art of knowing what to say, knowing what to say, and knowing how to say it. If that mathematics come out well, then you will definitely end up as the winner. It's good luck to everybody. Thank you.